Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Broadnax with another installment, if we should call it that, of Stream of Consciousness. A young lady made a post online. I chimed in on the post, and a couple of people were responding to things that weren't quite correct. And before I knew it, I started responding to various posts, and I apologized to the person who initiated the post and said, I feel like I'm walking all over your post, and she was like, no, that's absolutely fine. She's like, I'm 100% with you. And if you see the post, you'll see where she has either chimed in or liked some of the comments that I've given. And so with one comment, a young lady said, well, the problem is if they're coming to your house, then you may not want to shampoo them in your sink. And I told the young lady, I said, that's a double-edged sword, because you're saying that you will allow someone in your personal space in your house, but you will not allow them to put their head in your sink. It is synonymous to me. One goes with the other. Like, if I'm not going to shampoo you in my house, I may as well not be doing your hair in my house. And when you go to someone's house, the first thing that I question is this person licensed, authorized, approved, certified, whatever you want to call it, to touch another person? Do they understand the risks that come along with providing said service? So basically, her response to me was, well, people have been doing hair in their house for years. Also, over time, we have changed our practices in the way that we practice. And one of those things is by requiring a license, because you want a person to not only just, say, oh, they have a license. With that license comes the understanding of the risks that go along with providing services to the public. But when you study something, you get a more in-depth knowledge, and you're also able to talk to people about the why, the what's behind these risks and things that come along with the services that we provide. As the conversation went on, she said, well, I feel like this is just a way, making people have a license is a way of blocking their hustle, and so I asked her to elaborate a little bit more, and she said, well, because when you're a hustler, you can just pick something up and you can start doing it. So the same way you would not want to go to a dentist and them not be aware of the risks of the things that they can do to you, the same way you would not want to go to a doctor and see a doctor that is not aware of the risk that they pose to you when they treat you. I look at hairstyling the same way. We deal with too many things, chemicals, that require knowledge of risk. And then some people say, well, I'm a braider. I had a conversation with a young lady a couple of years ago, and she said, well, I'm a braider. I don't need to have a license. And I shared with her, I said, well, in Washington, D.C., you do. And she said, well, I'm not dealing with any chemicals. I said, no, you're not dealing with chemicals, but you are dealing with a person that is susceptible to having disorders of their scalp. So there are various things that a person could be dealing with that you may not recognize as a unlicensed or uneducated professional that can cause serious harm to yourself as well as to the client. It's not about knocking someone's hustle, but I would challenge people to look at it from the other standpoint. Are you knocking someone's profession, right? So let's just say I'm going to create a scenario. I, as a person, have spent several years, or I spent a year in beauty school learning, perfecting my craft, being educated. I took hundreds of dollars of advanced classes to be able to provide additional services to my clients, and also be able to keep up with the new and emerging trends, and get more information about various things such as infection control and disorders and all those kind of things. So I put all this energy, money, and time into perfecting who I am as a professional. But now I have to compete with someone who does not do the same, right? And not even that they have to put all that time, money, and energy into taking their profession further for themselves. They have not done the basic, which was to go to school. A lot of people are wearing lace front wigs. So if I have learned how to put my lace front wig on, and then I said, oh, you know what, I can do the same to this person, I go ahead and start offering those services in my house, right? You are knocking someone's profession. You are taking away from the profession. You are diminishing the professionalism of the industry by doing those things. Now, as a uneducated, unlicensed person, to me, I have a little grace for you, because you don't have the perspective that someone else may have in terms of being licensed and why that is important and all that kind of stuff. Go back. You should not want to engage in practices that you are not fully aware of the risk, or are not supposed to, because you create a liability to the client as well as yourself. It's not always about somebody doesn't want us to do something, or somebody is trying to knock someone else's hustle, things like that. But also, from the flip side standpoint, think about what you are doing to someone's profession. And I encourage people to kind of look at it from the standpoint of the more we patronize people who are unlicensed for various things, we perpetuate that activity, but you also diminish the industry that they are operating in. So for every unlicensed stylist, every unlicensed stylist out there who is seeing clients, they are taking clients away from a stylist who has imparted a lot of time, money, and energy into building their career. For all people who may be seeing somebody who is not a licensed person, encourage them to go get their license. If they are just that good that you have to see them, you should also want the best for them, so that they can go and be a legitimate participant in whatever industry that they're trying to be in. I bring it back to what I said in the beginning. Most people would not want to go to an unlicensed doctor who's providing a service to you. Most people would not want to go to an unlicensed dentist who's providing a service to you. I feel the same. We should not want to go to unlicensed hairstylists, nail techs, barbers, estheticians, beauty industry personnel. Part of the thing that we are facing right now is deregulation of licensure, and having people practice within the industry who are not licensed reinforces the idea that licensure is not necessary. Ultimately, what's going to happen is, if there was a situation where licenses were to disappear, we would start to see an increase in the amount of liability claims that would come forth about people either taking someone's hair out, burning them, causing them to have infection of their nails, ruining their skin if they're an esthetician, causing or promoting a situation where folliculitis spreads for barbers, things like that. We'll see that uptake, and that would ultimately just destroy our industry. It's not always about knocking a hustle, but it's also about protecting a profession and an industry. And so I encourage all licensed stylists to do what we can to make sure that we continue to uplift our profession and keep it just that, a profession and not a hobby. Thank you for listening to my stream of consciousness, and I look forward to bringing the second part of that conversation that I had with the young lady to you shortly. Have a great day.